Hello everyone and welcome to the ScratchRunning Podcast, the official podcast of competitive browser gaming. In this monthly series, me and the ScratchRunners talk about what we've seen on Scratch and about Scratch as a platform. And as always, I'm your host Kieran, and with me on the mic are HmYesQuite, Apfellord, and a new special guest who is someone you might not have heard of necessarily, but whose account has some of the most unique art that Scratch has to offer. Maybe had, we'll get to that later. Our new guest host is Shalebridge.
Hello.
Shalebridge.
Question mark.
Hello.
Welcome to ScratchRunning.
I'm very happy to have you here, Shale, because I can say Shale. I can say Shale, right?
Yeah. You want to try that again?
Shale.
No, I know what I said.
All right.
I mean, if you want, you can also tell the people what you've been posting on Scratch and how that whole thing went.
I draw things. I definitely, like you said, you don't remember how you found me. I definitely don't make it easy. I don't like go out and advertise myself anywhere. In the account Shalebridge, the only thing I did really to advertise myself was I let a friend know that I was still alive.
Oh.
Like the first project is just me remixing something that Desland had made, and like that was just like, hey, I don't have access to any of my other accounts, but I have access to this account.
Wow.
And it just sort of went from there.
Oh no.
I mean, that's a good thing you said your other accounts, because I actually don't know any other account from you, and maybe you've also made it. Like, can they even be found anymore?
Most of them can still be found. I think there are still a few like here and there that just have been wiped off the face of Scratch.
Oof.
And that's more in terms of the account itself has been deleted, but if you like look up the username that I had, you'll still find the projects because they're still up there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know Scratch worked like that.
Thanks, Scratch.
Thanks, Scratch, for only deleting the person who made it. Not, yeah. But
this is better than nothing.
I was surprised to hear when you well, I was gonna say when you applied to be on the SRCast, but like when we did the chat beforehand before I invited you and stuff, and then you told me you were on Scratch for 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah, it's been quite some time.
You spent drawing every day.
Yeah, like how many of those years have been dedicated to Shalebridge now? Because that's obviously your newest.
I mean, I gotta look it up now. When did I make that account? That was 3 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, because the second project I made was a reference to the first project that I put on the website ever. And it was sort of hey, it's been 10 years. Why am I still here?
That's, I mean, not to jump to like too many topics immediately, but that's another thing I want to ask you maybe later. Like why on Scratch? Because obviously, okay, now I can see 13 years on Scratch. You probably started when you were much younger. I mean, you did start when you were much younger, and Scratch is like a nice place to be for that stuff. But what was the thing you started out making on Scratch? Was it always like art?
I mean, when I started on Scratch, it was more just learning the program. Like it was. So the way I got introduced to it was a member of the Scratch team. One of their children went to the same school I did, and so they decided to have like an after-school program. Like, oh, we're gonna have Scratch Club, and me and my friends see these flyers around the hallways on the school, and we're like, oh man, we can make like little browser games, like because we had wasted time doing stuff like the whatever the sand simulator things were,
like
those kind of things.
Oh,
and so we're like, oh, cool, we can join this and learn how to make these. And then, immediately we learn, oh, it actually takes like a lot of effort to do that.
Yeah.
But it was just sort of like this, she was there and like teaching all these kids about computer programming and that kind of thing. And very few people took it seriously at all. Like,
I see.
I have a very vivid memory of kids at the club going there just to like play the Meow Mix commercial theme song. Like out of the computers at the computer lab. Like they weren't even using Scratch at that point.
Wait, this is the most amazing thing to me, because like, wait, you said that they like only play the meow sound?
Not the meow
there?
sound. It was
Oh, okay.
there's like this brand. There's like this brand of cat food called Meow Mix, I think.
Meow
Yeah.
Mix.
Oh.
And they
okay.
had a commercial with this really annoying song where most of the lyrics are just meow, and they would.
That specific tune is just
Honestly,
emblazoned in the
That
minds
sounds
of
like a
Americans
scratch.
everywhere.
That sounds like a scratch project to me.
Okay, I mean, I was so excited because literally the only thing people did with Scratch at my school was because we had it on the we had this program where all like certain classes had their own laptops, and Scratch was pre-installed on them, which is how I found out about Scratch later on.
Yeah.
But like literally the only thing we did or people did with Scratch is just, hey, look, you can click this button and then this
Click this.
silly meow sound plays.
Funny
that's,
cat go meow.
Basically.
Yeah. So I thought I found another class there or club, I guess, and only used it for that.
Scratch, am I right?
But man, I can imagine just having you're right. If I was in a room and 5+ computers were all playing the Meow Mix song simultaneously, that would be a lasting memory as well for all sorts of reasons.
Yeah. That's it's a thing to remember.
So then how did it move from that to what you do now?
There were many steps because, as you may be able to do the math here, there were 10 years between that and Shalebridge.
Oh.
So there's a bit of history of I think actually the first few months of Scratch Club was that we didn't even know about the website. It might have been even in 2006 before the website existed.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
But at some point, we are told, hey, there's a website where you can post things, and we start just uploading trash constantly.
Ooh, remember,
Classic, yes.
Remember Scratch 1 when you had to use the offline editor and then upload your SB to the website?
I remember.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I sure do.
man, yeah, those were definitely some times.
Not good times necessarily,
Scratch
but they were
Uh,
times.
So
I don't
much
know if I'd
easier.
call them bad times, but
That's true.
there were definitely times where I was much younger than I am now.
I mean, you started out with the earliest Scratch version, right?
Yeah, I remember there might have been a 1.1, but there was definitely a 1.2.1 and 1.3 and 1.4
1.4 is the one
at
everyone
some
remembers.
point.
Yeah. 1.4
I mean, yeah,
was the one
1.
I started out with.
0.4 sort of lasted the longest, I think, because they didn't
mhm.
really have anything else that they really wanted to add immediately. I
Yeah.
think the switch to Scratch 2 was more of just they wanted to move out of Scratch being written in Squeak, I think, was
Oh,
the
God.
programming language it was made in.
Okay.
And then boom, Flash.
And it was in Flash. And then I really loved how they had it in Flash for a while, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh wait, Flash is going to stop being supported.
Oh yeah.
We have to move it to
Whoops.
something else. And so 3
Scratch
sort of got rushed out.
Yeah.
You can tell.
I mean,
man.
yeah,
Can you?
kind of.
Scratch 3.0.
Wait, I mean, we've talked about this myriad of times, but I would really like to hear your stance because I feel like, I mean, you don't.
Oh, on 2 versus 3.
Yeah, 2 versus 3, and I know we've talked about this many times. Yeah.
I mean,
But,
being an artist, do you really care how big the blocks are?
Yes.
Yeah, the change in how it looked was definitely sort of a thing. But again, when it got to be 3, I didn't really care at that point about the coding side of Scratch.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
I see. That was
sort of decoupled
Shalebridge
from
times.
that whole part of it.
Yeah, it was it was even a change going from 1 to 2. It was there's actual fonts and smoothing and whatnot. It was
Yes.
weird. I
2
think
2 was a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Scratch 2. Oh,
the
good times.
weirdest change from 2 to 3 from an art perspective would be how Scratch now sort of handles its player. I had some project when it when the change happened, but the way that pictures are displayed on Scratch now as opposed to back in 2 is different. I'm trying to remember. It was
I think I know what you mean.
So if you can upload an image that's wider than 480 pixels, and if you're not full screen, it scales down.
Yeah.
And if you are full screen, it scales up.
well.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no, because I've done research. I guess I don't know. what used to happen in Scratch 2 is when you would upload pictures larger than 40 by 360, it would downscale them to like fit 40 by 360, but then upscale them back again to be, because the paint editor operated in 960 by 720. It would sort of downscale them and then re-upscale them so that you could still edit them in the program, but it just looked worse. Now what happens is it downscales them to fit the 960 by 720, but the way it's displayed is for each pixel like in the player, it's only sampling like one of them.
Oh, it's like when you resize an MS Paint. Oh no.
Kind of, I guess. Yeah, I mean, there's some things wrong with Scratch 3, obviously. But that's one thing that I just wonder.
Nobody's perfect. Not even Scratch.
Not even Scratch. Unfortunately, I wish it was, but we'll just have to live with down and upscaled.
Both of those I was actually unaware of because of how low of a pixel count I usually work with in my games. But I think it makes sense why you would be more keen to that, and especially you, Shale.
Wait, quite. You when you drew like stuff for Fringe of Forces, for example, did you do that all? You did that all in Scratch, right?
Yeah, I just because all of the characters for Fringe of Forces are 20 by 20 pixels, so I just zoomed all the way in and then just did it pixel by pixel.
Went to town. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, the thing that it's like, this confuses me the most because Scratch is 480 by 360, or it's supposed to be. But then, in the costume editor, at least bitmap, you have these. It's like double that, and I really don't understand why they wouldn't just go out and like set them to be the same number. Why can you guys think of a reason for that?
My guess is that when they went to Scratch 2 and they doubled like the size that the paint editor operated in, was they did that so that people could draw lines in the paint editor and they would look kind of smooth and like nice, but then when you used the fill bucket, it wouldn't get that like, you wouldn't get those like little white pixels at the edge because it would it wouldn't be, it was just binary. So
yeah.
And I think
I still find it kind of weird that when you set it to 1 pixel, you kind of have half a pixel leeway.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that was one thing again that ended up frustrating me as I drew sprite work is because the smallest like drawing pen size is 1 square, but the square is actually a 2x2. And if you manage to draw diagonally, you actually make a little.
Oh Lord, that was that was in Scratch 2, I believe. Though now you can actually draw with a half pixel. I'm calling it a half pixel, but you know what I mean,
right?
Yeah, that's it's a whole thing. To get back on the topic, like your channel and 13 years on Scratch and the change. How long before you made the Shalebridge account? Because for those people who don't know out there, like your account basically used to upload like a daily picture, and I guess we didn't explain this yet, right?
Right.
If you want, you can go ahead.
At some point in the distant past, like 3 years ago, almost. Distant past, ages of time. I decided that I was kind of unhappy with my art output, and I decided, hey, in order to get myself back into like drawing more, I gave myself a daily minimum, and it was each day I had to draw at least 1 circle, and that was all I had to do. The first day, for the first sort of period of time, I gave myself a deadline of midnight, and since then it's gotten kind of flexible. It was more like for a while it was like at least start before midnight, and sometimes it's just whatever. But
before dawn,
once a day, I sit down and I have to draw at least 1 circle, and of course, usually once you've drawn a circle, you draw more than a circle. The first day, I almost missed the midnight deadline, and so I did, in fact, only draw a circle, and I thought, what, that's kind of nice. Now I've reached the minimum. I can only go up from here.
So good.
Perfect.
There have been a few days where like I was like physically ill and couldn't draw
Mhm.
more than a circle, and it was good to be like, hey, I can drag myself out of bed, draw a single circle, save it, and say, all right, I'm done, and get back in bed.
I
Wow.
love
It's excellent.
It's not much, but it's honest work.
Nice.
Those like I again want to point out like just how cool or how good this approach is, because it's just this psychological thing where every day you set yourself this like minimum, and you're right, once you've started drawing, like the hardest part is starting, right? And
Well, sometimes.
yeah, and then
I
I
don't know,
look
the
at some
drawing
of
itself gets tough.
and then I look at those drawings that are like where like it feels like 10 days or something led up to this huge picture or a huge image. In those cases, it's definitely, the drawing is the hardest part, but it's this thing where you can feel like you do something every day, and even drawing a circle, it just drawing the circle and trying to make it nice, even that helps, give you a feel for drawing and stuff. So this is cool.
Yeah.
I
a lot
want to
of it-
encourage more people to do this.
Oh yeah,
Draw a circle
absolutely.
every day.
Like
Yeah.
just make stuff in general. Find
Yeah.
something that you want to make, and just like if it comes out bad, just keep doing it anyway. Eventually you'll get there.
Yep.
And a lot of it too was like, yeah, you mentioned like the psychological aspect of it. I don't know if I'd use that word, but it was a lot about just like
okay.
just building a habit of like, all right, it's this time of day, I guess I got to draw something.
Yes.
Sure.
Every time like people say to me like, hey, when you see like a really unique like art style or something on the internet, and then I go, oh yeah, I know this guy.
Oh, you're just talking about Shalebridge.
And
Yeah.
then I just point them to like your Scratch account and just show them like, hey, this is
Shale good.
Shale good. That's what I want to say.
It's like I've definitely like there are accounts of art before Shalebridge.
Okay. Yes.
I think probably the most notable one was right before Shalebridge. There was CF Bundy, which was that was actually a point in time where I was really out of practice drawing art. And I just that's sort of the why am I still on Scratch now? And it was when I made the CF Bundy account, or when I really like started using it, I was at a point where I wasn't feeling too great about how I was doing things. I had actually it had been like a absurd amount of time before I had like drawn like before that.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so I sort of
Yeah.
knew some stuff, but I was way out of practice. And
I see.
my train of thought was, well, I know about Scratch, and I can go back here and know that no matter how bad I end up making things, it'll sort of belong there. It's fine. People won't ask
You'll always
questions.
impress someone.
This is great, because now I wanted to ask you why Scratch, and obviously some of it has to do with because you used it before and stuff, and it's this nice community. But why you kept using Scratch, and I can 100% see what you
I
mean
agree.
with it. Doesn't matter what you put out. The bar isn't set very high on Scratch, which is I don't mean that in a bad way necessarily.
Not
Oh yeah, it was
down,
it was really nice being able to do that. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh man, I can just put like if I look at something and I hate it, which was happening a lot at that point, I can say this doesn't matter. None of this matters, and put it up on Scratch anyway. It's like that's awesome. This is
Here
great.
on
Scratch.
scratch.mit.edu, there is 0 skill flaw and 0 skill ceiling, and I love
Dude,
it.
there aren't even dislikes. You're
Yeah.
good.
I mean, yeah, it's just no one cares. You put stuff up, someone will look at it and think, oh cool, nice thing.
And sometimes the Scratch team will look at it and think, report.
Bruh.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
If we're gonna talk about the
Slight
drawings that
segue.
I've made that have been
Yeah.
taken down,
Yeah, sure.
it was definitely a surprise when it first happened, kind of as well in sort of a finally kind of way. But
Wow, I'm really
More-
honestly surprised I got away with this for so long.
I've been doing this for so long. I think it was 870 that got
Oh.
taken down first.
Yeah, there was
And-
it was a
really
late
went-
one.
You really went
It's
2
not
years.
on Scratch anymore, but the description I have of it is there's sort of like this torso head looking thing, and it's got a big hole in its face, and in that hole there's like a set of teeth, kind of thing. This weird little ball with some teeth, and then like the shoulders have like this weird. I don't know what I was doing. I was just drawing a bunch of lines.
That's what I love about the drawings.
And upgraded a circle.
I feel as though for most of your art, a verbal description doesn't really do it justice.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
Well, okay.
No, in the best possible way.
So 870 got taken down, and my confusion was initially, why this one? Like, it didn't make sense. I'm looking at it and thinking, this doesn't make sense. Why is this inappropriate or like violent or scary? Whatever the term they used was. And I was just like looking at it for a while, trying to think, is it the red? Is it the teeth? Like, what's going on here? And actually, right after that happened, I don't think it was that day, but I think it was the next day on 876. That one is still up, but that was I'm trying to like test the waters of what's acceptable and what's not. And I made this drawing, and it was like,
also shows.
It's still up, it's still there. But then the next one, the very next one, 877, which is just sort of like this big face with like a big grin, and it's got some teeth knocked out. That one got taken down, and I was so confused. It was completely unrelated. I was just drawing a thing.
Team.
And I mean, I really don't want to point the Scratch team to any more of these, but there's literally one that's a dude stabbing himself.
Oh yeah, no, because
That one's still up.
no, because it was 951 was the finished one, and that one got taken down, but all the steps leading up to it are still there.
They're like, we can't we can't delete all these progress pictures.
Like maybe it was just there's more red in the finished version or something. I
knew you were leading up to something, because they all kind of seemed similar, and then boom.
I mean,
finished
that's
product.
like literally. I think that's the thing that eventually like it became when you say, okay, draw a circle every day. If you draw a picture and that picture isn't like finished, then the next day is obviously gonna, if you want to, like you're gonna continue
on.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I mean, and there have definitely been pictures that I've started and thought, oh man, I should finish this, and then I just didn't do
905
that.
to 910.
Yeah.
Are all a building.
I love that though. I love the
Yeah,
building.
it's good.
There's some good buildings out there. But yeah, generally, I think what we said earlier, like it's so hard to describe your drawings, but I would use the word slightly disturbing.
And I guess, I would probably use the word unsettling, and I'll use this as kind of a general warning to the listener in terms of, if you're easily unsettled, then a lot of
maybe don't.
Shalebridge's drawings will do that, but it's very much it's an artistic sort of this, and also a lot of them are the same sort of tone, the same sort of they're very unified in their
gloomy and kind of stuff like that.
Their artistic style, and so you're right. I am very confused as to why one would be removed while so many others are still fine.
Well, see, I have a theory about this, and I would like to believe that I'm correct about this because it makes sense. The Scratch team doesn't actually go through my projects and look at them and decide, this one we're taking down, this one we're taking down. It's literally just, if something gets taken down, it's because someone has reported it.
I 100% understand.
Who's
I think that's it.
You?
See, I think that's also kind of why I had gotten away with drawing what I draw and not having anything taken down for so long, is just I don't put myself out there very much. Not that many people who look at my stuff are people who don't like it.
I remember making or releasing Monster World Day. I said it. And
Monster World.
How
and
far
somebody and somebody calling HmYesQuite, the final boss, extremely scary and unsettling. And I was scared that they were gonna report my project and
go commit Shalebridge.
But I guess that's exactly it, right? If somebody imagine if your projects were if one got on the front page, maybe it did, but
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Not on Shalebridge.
You'd have to tell me. But anyways, just imagine tons of kids seeing these potentially unsettling images, then I can imagine a lot more reports coming your way. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate, but luckily Scratch isn't the only place people can find you. And right now, as of now, It's literally a place where they cannot find your new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it too is I think because it's just a picture, the Scratch team can go to the project, look at it, think, oh, this isn't for children. We should take this down. And it's really easy. Like when you said like some boss looked spooky, it's like Scratch team might go and look at your project and be like, oh, there's like other things here.
This is
This is fine.
slime.
Like I don't expect Scratch team to play through all of Monster World and like see, this is the boss they were talking about. Yes, report and ban.
So wait, I guess
It's an eye.
if you want to have scary stuff in your game, just do what Earthbound does and hide it in the final boss so that people reviewing it don't get that far.
It's perfect. It's the perfect crime. Anyways, we are continuing and have now talked a lot about Shalebridge and his stuff, and you should definitely check that out if that sounds like something that's up your alley, or if you're just interested in cool, inspiring,
Absolutely.
stuff. It turns out the prophecy of HmYesQuite came true.
Quite.
Thank you, Quite. Now we have much more people listening to us. Thank you. No, okay.
Very much a monkey's paw sort of situation.
Yeah.
Thanks, pal.
Griffpatch liked our last, or loved our last SRCast, which is awesome. Thank you, Griffpatch.
Hey, now you're getting the true Scratch experience.
I think so, yes. I think this is gonna... I hope that this episode reels it back a bit, like,
Not to toot my own horn, but, hey, have you ever wondered what it's like to be featured?
Cool.
Cool.
The difference between Griffpatch comments and featured comments is that Griffpatch's comments literally only consist of... or the most of Griffpatch's comments, I'm sorry.
Just,
it consists of...
loves this.
Exactly. And most of the comments you get when you're featured are either spammy, like those like
check out my
ASCII
studio.
art. Yeah, that too, or the ASCII art like that people make, and then
sure.
it's an unstoppable wave if you don't delete the first one.
Oh man,
you
curate your comment section a lot more strictly than I do. I guess I don't need to.
There are when Rope Slide 2 got featured back then,
Yes.
I really had to be like on the lookout for these spam ASCII arts, because you can actually see like how people commented based on what people commented before them. It was like this: you'd get waves of people saying cool, then you get waves of people spamming this ASCII art, and then you get it was the worst when like there was this thing where those things in the comments people do where like the text goes over the text box and into the next one.
Oh yeah, like pseudo corrupted text.
Yes, something like that. And somebody like posted one and it spread like a virus. Speaking of virus, we're gonna get to that maybe later. There might be a thing going on right now out there. But in the end, does it really matter? Maybe not. But
no.
But for the cleanliness of the comment section, you can sort of trim out the dull bugs.
Clean your comment section like you should probably be cleaning your hands.
Yes. We literally wrote in other topics Plague Inc. jokes, but please let's not get political.
So on your Scratch profile, Mr. Bridge, your location is set to Greenland. So how are the Plague Inc. memers doing? Being flooded with people avoiding the funny virus.
The funny virus? I tell you what, just like you thought my name was something and it wasn't, I also don't live in Greenland.
That's unfortunate.
Nice.
Shalebridge has been continuously fooling us over the course of the last weeks, where we tried to get him to join the podcast.
It's kind of like the cheat where like that's might be a character that no one knows, but we only know what is incorrect about Shalebridge.
Yeah.
So he isn't from Greenland.
Write that down, Kieran. Write that down for the next one.
We've narrowed it down to one fewer options.
But no, here's the thing. If anybody out there actually lives in Greenland, tell us if
Good luck.
Plague Inc. was right, and that's like the last place that gets invaded by the coronavirus. We hope you all stay inside while you listen to this wonderful
I
podcast.
hope the virus blows over and then I get to go outside. 5 likes and I'll buy 1 hamburger.
Good job.
Because we're in a McDonald's recording this.
Yeah.
But in quarantine, they don't let any other people in, but they let us.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
the
closed,
thing is, we never
they
left. They
Closed
just sort
the,
of.
They closed the McDonald's around us, but we
Yeah.
still stayed inside, and now we can't get out. So now we
Yeah.
just have to
Alright.
record the podcast.
Send help.
Help.
We smuggled in Shalebridge amongst the new shipment of French fries.
Yeah.
Personally, if I were trapped inside a McDonald's, I would probably run out of things to do because they don't deliver
Yes.
to McDonald's that are closed. So where are you going to get your frozen burgers to cook?
To
I
gnaw on.
guess?
Yeah, but there's these. I don't know if they've done this in your where you live too, but in McDonald's around here, they've started like making these tables where they're like there's a huge tablet, like the table itself basically is a huge tablet, which is just an invitation for people to drop their food on there. But you know, you can play like 2-player Pong or something on there. It's pretty cool.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they do that in my McDonald's.
Someday I'm gonna hack it and add SFT to there.
Remember
but-
places.
Dude, you could play Fringe of Forces on the
You could play Fringe of
McDonald's
Forces on McDonald's
You could, I guess.
if you really wanted to.
if you really wanted to make it happen, McDonald's.
If I wanted to start a new,
McDonald's.
advertising, like, attempt
Do it.
for the game.
You know what other? This is a terrible segue, but you know what other 2-player game you could play on there, and also at home right now.
So have you guys ever heard of Scratch user Rend Heaven and their most recent project Simple RPG 3? Because
Tell
we
me
sure
more.
have. I'd
No.
love to. So Simple
Take it away.
RPG 3 is a co-op RPG made by Scratch user Rend Heaven. Right now, all of the servers are full. But on the off chance that you get to join in, you can team up with someone on the internet using Scratch Cloud variables. And
Very stable.
Yeah, very stable. You never get disconnected.
No.
Not once.
Nevertheless, I'm still very impressed by that kind of thing.
You basically have your 2 magicians and 2 enemies, or sometimes only 1, and you have your skills that you can get by leveling up and stuff, and it's obviously turn-based, so you can plan ahead and stuff, and there's a surprising amount of strategy in there, and a surprising amount of like strategies yet to find that you like. The more you play, the more you see, oh, what if I don't get like this ability first, but then
Maybe get a different one.
Yeah, and we try that. And so Kieran and I actually played it, and we made we recorded a video of it that's maybe gonna go up soon on the YouTube.
Subscribe to ScratchRunning.
That's basically your cue to say that. But
Yeah.
it's a huge amount of fun, and I
So
encourage
good.
everybody to play it. I just hope more servers. Like he just copies the project and basically adds more
Yeah.
servers through that.
Solo is just too hard. Just don't.
I guess so. It only goes to like level 10 too,
Mhm.
right? Just there's even a chat system with
XD.
with XD and the like.
Hey, can you heal?
And you can try
Please?
communicating
Once?
with people and going insane by just saying, "Can you heal?" and the other guy just replying with XD all the time.
XD.
Like, that doesn't
I
answer
have
my
40
question.
healing.
What are you
So,
talking about? That's a perfectly fine answer.
yeah.
Tells you everything you need to know.
It tells
your other-
it tells you that they heard you.
What more could you ask for?
They're just keeping you good company, right? Just
Yeah.
like there's this huge dragon you're fighting against, and that guy's just laughing his butt off.
No.
It's excellent bedside manner as you slowly die for lack of heals.
Yeah.
Are you ever going to
least-
run out of healing? You can just stall out the dragon for 20 turns.
Don't know because it's over. XD because it happened. So
XD.
moving on. What other games have we played recently that
So,
aren't on Scratch?
rem- Remember that
Oh, yeah.
one time I said that I hadn't played Celeste?
Mm.
Well, guess what?
Tell me
I
more.
have. It's an easy 5 out of 5. So good.
Nice.
I like keep seeing stuff in our community program of choice, and
It's just screenshots of me beating all the levels because this game is very, very hard.
Yeah.
I have some
not
levels.
I have not learned what the game looks like. I only know from the screenshots what the success screens look like.
That's the best thing.
The success screens are very good.
10 out of 10.
In game, it's just pixel art. It's great.
It's great pixel art. It's a great game.
So good.
I've watched a lot of it.
I'm not going to spoil the story.
Please don't.
You can you can skip cutscenes once you've beaten the game.
Wow. That's clever and maybe annoying for people who like bought the game on a new console.
I mean, you can skip cutscenes on your first run, but really,
okay.
on your casual playthrough,
Why would you?
Why would you?
Why would you do
put
this?
time and effort on into this.
gave you those cutscenes for watching.
Not for skipping. Yeah, but Celeste is a great game that everybody should at least like watch. I feel because
yeah,
because it's very likely that you won't be able to play too far. It's extremely difficult. It's very kind to you, but it's kind to you in like the hey, I know you can do it, even though this is your 97th attempt at least.
No.
Maybe
but there is assist mode, right?
You are a mountain climber.
There is a mode that like helps you in certain places, right?
Yeah,
like an assist mode. So there's that. Even if there's something you think you cannot beat, then you have the Luigi out.
Yeah.
No, was it Luigi? Yeah, right.
Luigi.
Yeah.
Shout out to Luigi Guide.
Shout out to Luigi.
They have Luigi and Celeste.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Luigi and Celeste.
Man, if you had Luigi's jump in Celeste, that would actually make the game significantly easier.
Yahoo!
Yahoo! What's your best Yahoo? Give me your best Yahoos, people.
The only thing I think of when I see Yahoo is just the endless stairs.
Oh yeah, from Super Mario 64.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yahoo!
That was a good impression of that. Anyways, we've been talking for an hour.
Whoa!
Let's get to Q&A.
Q&A time! Yahoo!
Let's answer some.
Yippee!
Boy howdy.
So we got
howdy.
a ton of questions. By the way, did you know that Griffpatch loved this project?
Oh man, I didn't
Did you
know
know?
that. Tell me more.
Wait, this one?
This one too.
Yeah,
I'm getting
We're
another
calling it.
vision. Hold on.
another one.
Outlook cloudy. Please try again later.
Let's limit it to 5 questions because we actually got a lot more because of Griffpatch who liked our.
Thank you.
Thank you very
project.
much. But we probably won't be able to get to all of them.
We'll be fine. Scratch user Rusting Robot asked us, how do you feel about the shops on the Scratch forums doing commission work for no payment?
Now, does any one of you not know what he means by this? Because I didn't before he mentioned it.
I've never heard of this.
I've seen these, but I've never participated.
Here, we try to get your order done quick and perfect. Our current rating, 9 out of 10.
Who rated?
So
I don't know.
basically, we have these forum posts that are shops, obviously, as they're called. But here's the thing: it's for free because obviously you can't do anything on Scratch. Like you can't pay people money.
You think anyone on Scratch has money?
No, that's not.
No one has
obviously
money on
not.
Scratch.
No one.
The heck is money?
I like the idea, but they take themselves so very seriously that I find
They have a report form,
humorous.
a Q&A form.
I appreciate
Contact
the
us.
professionalism.
Yes. Let me get this one.
We have moved to the Quattro shop. Welcome.
I also really like their
credits.
just the example you listed or was listed with the question. It's I don't know, a strange sort of beauty because there's the copper shop which is extremely polished and nice looking. Props to them.
Yeah.
And then amongst their partners there is Perfect Pearls, results as perfect as a pearl. Also the Waffle Shop.
Oh yeah,
The Waffle Shop.
The Waffle Shop. Let's not
Scratch-
forget about
Scratch
We
is
will
a
not be taking
fantastically
orders
unique
until the
place.
2nd of April 2020, when our staff team is large and has many members. Please join the shop if you get the chance.
I mean,
Sorry,
I've been
Waffle
to
Shop.
like industry supplier websites regularly, and like this is about the same level of professionalism.
Dude, jobs. Can I apply for a job on the Coppa Shop?
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I'd have to see how their actual performance is, but like, if I wasn't borderline obsessively like concerned to make sure that my work is my own, I might actually take them up on the offer.
Yeah. Maybe there's like some really, really talented people on there that just kind of want to do good stuff for people who, need the help.
Yeah.
So if you are one of those people, and the Coppa Shop, I believe it's still up. I don't know. Like, I believe it's still like
Hopefully.
running. If you need the help or could use some help from one of these shops, maybe give them send them a message. We're gonna post a link to those in the notes and credits, so you can do that.
Again, it is free. The worst that can happen is it's just not quite to your preference.
Yeah. You know what? You said it's a mystery, Shalebridge, and I've been wondering for a while now. Are you actually banned?
The big question.
Could you potentially log in and start a project anyway?
You know what I'm going to tell you? I'm logged in right now, and I've got a message from the Scratch team that yet another project got taken down.
Oh.
No! Bro.
I wasn't banned. I just left.
F in chat.
But
F.
also...
Oh, there's already an F chain in the comment section.
There are already plenty. Yeah, it's
But,
interesting. Somehow nobody decoded the message in the last project that I left that was basically just me saying, all right, I'm out of here. So everyone just thought I was banned this whole time.
Well, so actually, a question I have is, mostly because of my lack of experience, I'm not very familiar with the sorts of quick clusters of numbers and or letters that you put in your projects.
Oh, yeah.
Same.
Oh, right.
What do those stand for, if anything?
So for a while it was I'm trying to think. I went through a few like combinations, but it was sort of a hey, here's other things other than drawing that I've been trying to do more often, and I would have a little 1 if I did it and a little 0 if I didn't do it. Later on I started doing it so if I did multiple days in a row the number would just increase from 1 to 2 and so on.
Wow.
And it worked kind of, but then also not really. I don't know. It was just a
for
thing.
the most part, it's just CGLMOS.
Yeah. Did anybody ever like crack the code there? Did anybody figure it out?
The only person I can think of who figured it out is someone that I just talked to, and I sort of just told them.
Oh, I see.
That's the unfortunate thing about any kind of like code making, especially when people attempt ARG, is like a lot of people just sort of don't put in the effort, and so
yeah,
they don't get to whatever you're making.
That's the fun, or not the fun thing about them, but what like you can separate if somebody puts in the time, they're like an actual maybe insane, but also maybe a big fan. So there's that.
Yeah.
Can we jump to the next question, or do you guys have anything else to say?
That's probably
that?
it.
Is there a Flash game you would like to see revived? I'll give everyone a shot. Shale, have you played any Flash games?
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to go back before Flash. I want to see Junkbot come back in Shockwave days.
Explain to me what that is for some reason.
SWF.
Shockwave was sort of the pre-Flash, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
Junkbot was like the Lego trash robot game. I don't actually remember any of how the game played. I just remember Junkbot's smug face.
He has a very smug face. I agree.
I've got like an image of Junkbot holding a little newspaper that just says "I love trash" on it or something. It's great. I love it.
This is so cool. I see this. I may have seen this like once. There's also a Hearthstone card called Junkbot. All right.
I gotta say, when you mentioned Shockwave at first, I was like the deepest echoes of familiarity were in my mind. I was like, what?
I found something on the Wayback Machine. I found a link to it on archive.org. That's how old it is.
Nice.
This plugin is not supported. Oh no.
Quite. Do you have any Flash game you played back in the day that you would like to see remastered?
Right. I've played countless Flash games in the past.
Yeah.
Like way too many. It was the primary way I wasted time on the internet back then.
How would I even go about playing a file on Shockwave?
it's like
I don't
Flash.
know.
You just need to get Flash Shockwave.
Yeah.
You
I
need
don't know
the
where,
plugin.
but like
I think it's the same thing for HmYesQuite though. Like if you can't like pinpoint an exact one, because I've played a lot of Flash games, but there's not a single one I can like point to right now and say, okay, I would really love this remade.
If I'm very honest, it's just not very many of them are like, yes, I would like that to have more of it, quality wise. But I guess I'll reference a couple other things instead.
Sure.
One of my favorite Flash things, which wasn't a game, was the whole Homestar Runner website.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
You
One
found
person.
Yes, okay. Please explain for the others.
So it was just a cartoon, but it was a very excellent cartoon that I think aged well. And even though it's quite silly, I don't think it's immature. And it was just on its own website. It was its own thing. It pretty much exclusively like got popular through word of mouth, which is incredible.
Wow.
And
I mean, in the early days.
yeah, and
Maybe
amongst
not.
their cartoons, they just kind of randomly made games every now and again, like off of stuff that they made up in their cartoons. And so one of the games was Dangeresque Roomisode 1, which Dangeresque is one of the characters like when they attempted to make a home video, it was the name of the like silly action hero, like
Okay, yes.
wields a nunchuck gun and like does dumb stunts all the time kind of thing.
Things are about to get dangerous.
Exactly. And so Roomisode 1 is just the episode, an episode of it where he's in his office and the police chief is like wanting him to crack a case, but he hasn't been working on it, so he just has to like make up evidence based on what's in the room. So it's a point and click, but it's just
I see.
it's very good, and it would be delightful to see a second one.
That's amazing. There's so many like old gems I believe that people, that so many people in the future will not know of.
Yeah.
But that we can say
heck,
back in the day.
I mean, heck, even on this site, there's old gems that I don't even have a great way of learning about.
What you mean
yeah.
on Scratch? Or...
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little self-indulgent. If anyone listening has an old gem that they would like me to hear, just drop by my profile and just give me a link.
Actually, I've got an old gem right here. The most popular game from my memory, Archery Champion Beta 1.0.
On Scratch?
On
Hold
Scratch.
Wait.
You look at that project number and you notice that it only has 4 digits.
Oh, wow.
Holy smokes.
Okay, there's some...
June 3rd, 2007. Wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's old.
Now that's old.
There's some amazing stuff people made back then. I think we also had this topic or scratched the surface of this earlier sometime, but there's some crazy stuff people back.
Always nice to revisit this topic. I agree.
Yeah, nostalgia in general is just great. Like I'm just scrolling through my favorites from way back, and the first project I ever favorited was Ninja Fighting Demo by ENG Game Productions, and it's like a classic, like a fighting game, I guess, like a Street Fighter-ish.
Oh, neat.
But it was the first game where I thought, hey, this is pretty nicely made, and it was like Scratch 1.4 days, so you didn't have the fancy pants.
You didn't really have much.
Yeah, and then a bunch of stuff I favorited is just animations and stuff.
Sure.
From Swifty and gang. All right. Kieran, your Flash game you would like to see revived?
I can't really think of anything else except I can't really think of a Flash game, but I just want to shout out the Google Doodle Archive again.
Oh yes.
Yeah, just all of them.
Give us Google Duel 2, please. Thank you.
Please, Mr. Google.
Room begins to fill with
I'm
water.
growing more and more desperate every day. I'm kidding.
I believe since we've now reached unedited an hour and like 10 minutes.
That's a lot of recording.
That's a lot of recording and maybe time to end the episode.
It might be time for us to go home.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I want out of
finally...
this McDonald's.
We're never leaving this
Smells
place,
like
man.
fries. No, you get used to it.
You decided to join us. Now you're never gonna leave. I'm sorry, friend.
Oh.
Yeah, it's been good.
That's old Pybro over there. He's in the corner chomping
He's
away.
still
at
here. I think he might
fries.
be playing the Great Ghoul Duel in the McDonald's bathroom.
And there are Fuzzy and TNT Squirrel playing on the tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they
They're
just swing
playing-
through the drive-through every now and again.
Yeah.
Sorry,
you guys
this
still
isn't.
recording? All right, cool.
Sorry, this isn't actually McDonald's. It is the Hideout Scratch Running. Please consider supporting us at.
Yeah, that's time to end the episode. Shalebridge, thank you so much for joining.
Who are you again?
Some dude I made a game.
Alright, cool.
I'm Scratch Running.
I don't know. Like you asked me once if you could join this this server,
And we just kind of let you because that's something that we do for every comment. Wink, wink.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
kidding.
real fun. All the comments saying like, "Hey, can I be on the podcast?" and people respond with like, "Oh no, it's invitation only." I asked to be on the podcast. I called them cowards.
And to be fair, we do like you. That's
Yeah.
really
Well,
the
it
criteria.
Yeah,
I-
it worked, but I guess that's the difference. Is I've been mentioned on the podcast before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Try to do
So-
that first. Make something cool, okay? And then
Now
come
everyone's
back.
going to ask how to get mentioned, and for that, you just kind of have to get good.
Well, Shale just said it, yeah.
Just make some
Shall-
stuff. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
Worst
good.
case
So thankful.
scenario, you've made some stuff, and now you have some stuff that you've made. Good job.
Good job.
It's the mentality from before, and I'm so
It's
thankful you
the
said
scratch
this
game
to now-
mentality.
Because I didn't have to say it now. Yes, please, people, get good. Then you get mentioned. Then you get invited.
There you go. Perfect.
Start by drawing
Um,
a circle.
Yeah.
Start by drawing a circle a day.
Then draw another circle the next day.
Then draw
at
the
some
rest of the
point-
owl.
And then maybe nice art tutorial. Where'd you get it?
Then-
Scratch.
Then in 1,080 days, you will be on the Scratch Running Podcast. Good
Yes.
job, everyone.
Yeah, good job.
It's, it's just that easy. People in the comments, please don't call us cowards now. Like, just join the podcast. That's
That
not
won't
what I
work.
want.
It only
I've
works
un-
once. It's only funny the first time.
evil.
We'll
I
never
do like
forgive
that
you.
though. But I
I love my
liked and
friends.
pinned the comment before I actually realized that you were Shalebridge. So there's that. It worked.
Excellent.
Okay.
Good job.
So again, thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you.
It was a chill episode, and I
Yeah,
liked that a
it's
lot.
good.
We had a
It's fun to talk.
Yeah.
yes. I might just like put some jazz music over this because it fits perfectly.
Nice.
Oh, now you're speaking my
Oh.
language.
So
I think especially you, Shalebridge, you could like do do a good.
you could do with some jazz. So thank you for coming on to our podcast. We are not cowards. Dang it.
Yeah, everyone out there, viewers, find a new mean name to call these guys.
Yes, but keep it in the
Keep
the
it-
boundaries of Scratch or
Or
else-
don't.
Don't get yourselves banned over this. It's a very
Or do.
minimal thing to get banned.
or do. We'll find it.
And
Maybe.
thank you, dear viewer, for listening to the Scratch Running Podcast. We try our hardest.
to be funny and stuff. You can try your hardest to check out the people we've mentioned and the project.
It's
in
true.
the notes and credits. You can check out this episode on YouTube probably before it even went live on Scratch.
Yeah.
I might try something else with this next one on Scratch
just-
because now I have I have time.
Reactions.
I want to make reactions on our SRCast. Like, so for example, Shalebridge calls us cowards, and then you say, haha, that's funny, and you click
that-
like a little reaction thing.
Click
and
the
then other
X
SR
people
no
see
no
that.
lol.
button.
Is that going to replace the poll? Because I don't feel
No.
like we can do both.
No, I'm going to
mean,
do a
maybe
little
we can.
restructuring.
We'll
We
see.
can do both. Yeah, we'll see.
Hmm.
Until then, Kieran,
Yeah,
say the funny last
the-
line.
Uh,
Oh, wait. First, who are we? I'm sorry.
Yeah. You
I
forgot
need
to
some
mention.
exposure here.
So
you
thank you,
again?
thank you, Scratch user Apfellord, creator of the video game Monster World. Very cool.
That's perfect. Also, up there in the program of choice is
Yeah. HmYesQuite.
Yep.
Who are you?
I'm he.
I'm they.
me.
Yeah, and if you ever want to play some games, come on down. They're
Fringe.
pretty
Fringe
nice.
Forces.
And the last guy here in the
Go
Is
ahead.
that- is
Go
that
ahead,
me?
say it. Coward.
Probably.
Hi,
Hello?
Shalebridge.
Who are you?
Hi, I draw things.
Nice.
Excellent.
Nice.
That's perfect. And Kieran, KTref258.
I'm the.
I love how nobody said their own name.
Yeah.
Instead of
I tell people I am the host of the ScratchRunning Podcast.
Yep.
I'm the one who uploads the episodes to Anchor.
And I've recently, I can't believe I'm only saying this now, but like I'm only seeing this now because I just recently saw the captions, not like the descriptions you make for those.
Yeah.
And I find them hilarious. These
Go
are,
ahead.
Like
Anchor.fm/ScratchRunning.
Shout out to user Airclaws for pointing me there, and also for replying to like 90% of our comments. Good stuff.
Airclaws, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having a brain.
You did it.
You did it. Now it's time for the funny last line.
The recording has now stopped.